name is Nkosi, if I didn't introduce myself, and I would like to talk about a girl called Ntando Soloqueen. So Ntando was raped and kidnapped, right, at the age of 16. In Eastern Cape, a older guy took her to his place and did whatever that he wanted to do with her. That's point number one. Then later on, she dates this guy, then separates with this guy, lives her own life, and then reconnects with this guy. And that's the trending news. Okay. And then she also does have kids. And with my understanding, watching on Justify, their kids did not belong to, I think now, who they're calling as Mr. M. So I just keep doing some research, who the baby daddy, who the father of her kids is. And let's just leave that to a question whether it is the guy she paid Lobola or someone else. However, she never discusses that part of her life in all the podcasts I have watched her do. She only speaks about the trauma, being raped at 16, and then she jumps off to working, God being good, when she left Eastern Cape. And part of that is also part of trauma. People that have been raped at a young age, girls that have been raped at a young age, they also tend to be angry at their mothers because their mothers never cared. There's a part where Ntando is saying that, this traumatic thing has happened, now I'm bleeding, but my mom is not understanding. And apparently that is the biggest thing with rape survivors, how they say, when we tell you that we've been raped, you not believing us is the trauma. It's the biggest trauma there is. There's a name for because I am not a therapist, psychologist, or anyone that deals with trauma. However, being exposed to trauma and how it affects you as a person is the reason why I am doing this video. It is the reason why I want to bring awareness and I want to open up our eyes, because there is such a thing. After watching so many of her podcasts, and I just noticed I haven't watched a lot of them. Like, I watched Justify and there's more stuff to her. This is what I want to say. If you have ever been in a situation like her, where when you were young you got violated and now you are just living life and you don't understand a lot of things that are happening. So if I were to have a conversation with her one-on-one, the guy that she paid dowry for is the abusive, toxic man who is also intimidating her with power. Okay, and I'm glad that she is not shutting down. She's not agreeing to be silenced. I love that about Ntando. The problem that I see happening here with Ntando is the fact that she is still operating as that 16-year-old who got violated, who got kidnapped. And I will tell you why I say that. A lot of times she does really sound confused. She does sound, still angry. There's still anger there. And that is because we haven't dealt with the 16-year-old who got raped. Adults haven't sat down and either apologized, and psychologists and therapists haven't reached out and said, let us help you so that you can regain your power. Being kidnapped, I'm associating that with being stolen, being violated, also her virginity being taken. She mentions the whole virginity thing a lot, by someone. So theft happened. So definitely the devil came to steal, kill, and destroy in her life. And we also do understand this could have happened, or this is happening, because she does have the prophetic gift over her life. What the devil is doing in Ntando's life is making sure that he kills her destiny and steals her destiny and destroys her as a person. That is why now she's spending more time speaking about a toxic experience, a toxic trauma that happened to her, versus doing the assignment, which is healing others. However, you cannot heal if you are still broken. So I am proud of her, and I'm proud of anyone who wants to speak about their trauma. And we have to give them an ear, because that is how we heal. When she was young, she mentioned in this, she then self-healed herself. She had conversations with herself, you know, so that she could live, like, okay, so that I can live. So she basically had the powers. Then God has always been on her side. And when I heard that part, I was like, yeah, you really are God's favorite. However, when you're God's favorite, the devil is not going to let you live freely. That's not going to happen. You want to date losers that are going to always belittle you and try to make you this big, because that is the assignment. That's the assignment over you. So she grows up broken, and therefore she attracts broken men. You are operating from a broken vessel. The reason why this guy could, the guy that she paid Lobola for, is abusing her and could do all these things, right? Bringing other women into their relationship and say, you need to accept me and other women and me and my whole train of kids. It is because it's brokenness, broken with broken. They think it's making a whole piece, but it's just continuing the cycle of generational trauma, generational curses. This guy basically capitalized on her brokenness. So I definitely believe she has a big assignment. She has a big call over her life. And that is why the devil has a target on her from day one. What I feel Ntando needs to do, I want to help in the self-healing part, and other people can help in the legal part. However, she needs to heal. She needs to do a shadow healing on the girl that was violated, on the girl that got cheated of her teen years. That is who needs to heal. If we can heal the 16-year-old Ntando, that is when we are going to see who really, really Ntando is. A lot of people have also been molested, sodomized, raped, all these things. These things have happened to innocent children. But when they heal, they become people that are respected within the community. They open shelters, they write books, they produce. Now, when you're not producing because you're still bleeding, we need to deal with the bleeding. We need to deal with both. But this looks like a boil, and so there's a lot of pus and there's a lot of blood in there. So we need to validate the young girl. We need to say, young girl, come here. How do you feel? And that's where healing needs to begin, so that she does not operate through life on a survival. I need to survive, and I'm going to do everything I can do to survive. Then she will never also need to validate her worth through men and relationships. She will learn how to detach herself from relationships, because she is going to be a whole person. If her calling over her life is bigger than marriage, then she won't even have the desire. Yes, you've got kids. Yes, you know how sex feels like. But that's not your assignment. Your assignment is bigger than that. You realize that you're all you need. If you could heal yourself at 16 after being kidnapped and raped, the moment we shadow heal you, you go back to that girl and you hug that girl, then we realize that you are all you need, because why do I need to surround myself with people who want to hurt me? And therefore you will have higher standards, and not everyone is allowed in your space. She's Ntando for me and everyone who is young that gets raped. They probably feel like they've never been protected. And that's why sometimes they want the security of marriage, because for the first time ever in my life, I will feel protected. But as we've seen with Ntando, even within her marriage, she was not protected. Her man never protected her against his family, and never protected her against himself, his toxic self. So we now need to find the 16-year-old and go protect her and make her feel protected, so that she can be the best mom that can be out there. She can be the best woman to tell us how we should be protecting ourselves. Ntando, there's a part where she does not believe that God loves her, and she's looking at all the things she's been through, and that's why she can't connect that with God loving her. And I was like, she needs to heal the part where she does not believe God has loved her, but God has honestly provided for her when she relocated, going to a new city altogether, and everything went well even there. And even when she shares the story, she can see angels were really accompanying her. So God does love her. What is dangerous is she does not love herself the way God loves her. God looks out for Ntando. God uyambhekelela. God is looking out for her. But she does not look out for herself like that. My point of doing this video is so that she can heal. When she has healed, there is no story to share about someone that has never loved you. There are symptoms and causes, and there is a trauma response that happens. So, what are the complications of rape trauma syndrome? It's called rape trauma syndrome. It affects people that have been sexually assaulted, and therefore it can impact on your emotional well-being. And these people always need to feel safe, and they'll do things so that they can feel safe. Some will date men that are really below them. You'll find a girl that is well educated dating a guy that really brings nothing to the table, not even protection. This guy, my word, you could lose your license, your job, everything, but you will sacrifice yourself to be with that man. Those are part of rape trauma syndrome. But let me go to the pointers. Rape trauma syndrome also could be substance use disorder, when you are addicted to a substance. It could be suicidal thoughts. You could be struggling with suicidal thoughts after you've been raped, even if you were raped at a young age, or you're meaning 9 years old, 8 years old, 5 years, or as a teenager, or as a young adult. You could have a self-harm. I feel Ntando has a self-harm, but not cutting yourself, right? Not that kind of self-harm. The type of self-harm she has is quite emotional. She will date people who are emotionally unavailable. Is that good English? Emotionally unavailable. So her self-harm goes to my worth. It goes to her worth, where she will date people who don't validate her worth. So I'm validated by being in a relationship. You chose me. But besides that, there's nothing that says, okay, you have chosen me. That is another level of self-harm. I want to come back to self-harm as I close off this video. And the last one is not only the suicidal thoughts, it is suicide. Yonanje, it's on its own. You will struggle with suicide, etc. We need to understand, Bazalwane, trauma is borderline demonic because something demonic happened, something satanic happened. Someone came and violated you. So, of course, the spirits that are now going to be operating there are going to go with you ending your life and you not being well. The self-harm part, where now emotionally you keep loving people who are unavailable for you because you are operating from the 16-year-old, right, who was never chosen, never protected, who was never heard. Even when I had this big ordeal happen, you guys never even asked me what happened, asked me the details. So I don't feel heard in society. And that's why she had to work hard. She has to have money, because when I have money within any culture, then people will listen to you. They say when you have money, you've got power. Now she will self-harm in loving men that are unavailable, that are abusive. How can you be with a guy that gets 2 girls pregnant and above while still with you? My question for her would, have you ever dealt with a 16-year-old who got raped? Have you ever sat down and spoken about the rape ordeal and how you feel? Can we visit the 16-year-old who got violated? and let us heal her first. Because if we give her attention, I feel like your calling of prophecy will be activated. You will be back doing it. Your calling of music will be activated and you will be operating in that. But because now you are still operating from brokenness, you do not have time to nurture. You don't have time to give into these other callings, your purpose that God has called you. You are now speaking about an incident that happened. When you have healed, people can tease you. People can say things about you. You don't care because you know who you are. Ntando, I would love for you to know who you are. I would love for you to not try to prove to people, ex, nama baby mama, and everyone. Don't try to prove anything that has happened there. And you just are true to yourself and you are true to your voice, because your voice is bigger than one relationship that went wrong. And that's the truth. The truth is your voice is needed for ministry. Your voice is needed, to be the voice of the voiceless. You can now expose in Eastern Cape, with a lot of Xhosa men have that disease of raping. Let us speak about it. Why is this normalized within the Nguni culture? Tina is a Manguni. Why is it so normal that, our uncles, our brothers, they rape us at a young age and our families protect them? That's the conversation where it should be leading. Not my ex. Your ex does not deserve any airtime from you. And that's my honest opinion about this whole situation. The self-harm Ntando is doing is dating unavailable men emotionally. They are not feeding her. It's not a man that is protecting. It is a man that is actually exposing her nakedness. It is a man that is choosing other women versus choosing her. That is not your man. That is not your Adam. So I am doing this video to bring awareness that there's so much within rape trauma, and I think I'll do a separate video on that. We as the Black nation and as the generation of today, we're ready to now have these conversations. And these are the exciting times, because when did we ever think we would talk about, brother so-and-so, uncle, pastor and so on, they raped us, blah, blah, blah. But we have to heal that girl, that innocence that was taken there. We have to heal, and Jesus is still in the business of healing. God is still in the business of healing us, even when his own creation hurts us. With that being said, thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for understanding where I'm coming from a place of healing. My name is Oguhle Nkosi. If you do know Ntando personally, I'll also try to reach out to her, send her this link, and let the healing work begin now than later. May 2025 be a year where she steps into her calling, her ministry, and her purpose, her assignment. Her purpose and the story of her life is not who she once dated. It is who God has called her to be. And after all these attacks have been coming, now she comes from prison, now this, now that. After all of that, why, Lord, did you allow that I come to this earth? I have an assignment. I pray she steps into her assignment. I pray she steps into what she is really, truly supposed to be doing. And then you will notice how her voice will change. It will not be about someone, Mr. M, or someone we can't name, and someone we're scared of. If we interview you now, this guy is going to come for us. Now when you go to this podcast, it will not be about that. It will be about the conference you're doing. It will be about the concert you're doing, whichever one. If you want to speak, if you want to sing, girl, we're doing all of them. You will do it. Step into your assignment and heal the trauma, heal the brokenness, because God is in the business of restoring us. All the years the locusts have eaten, God is going to repay them. Step into that. In the name of Jesus, take care.